Well, the rising condemnation of Moore and numerous Hollywood celebrities has many people asking where this outrage was 20 years ago. Bill Clinton was the president then. A ton of people hit him with sexual misconduct allegations. A lot of them seemed believable then and now. Clinton survived in a big way because Democrats and feminists rallied to his defense. Juanita Broaddrick accused him, so did Paula Jones, but they were dismissed as bimbos and floozies and liars and losers and secret right-wingers, which they weren't. While Bill Clinton was defended as a supporter of feminist causes, especially of abortion. Christy Setzer is a feminist and president of New Heights Communication, and she joins us tonight. So you're not going to hear me say, Christy, that only liberals sexually harass or only conservatives. It's a sin's a human problem. But the difference is, so Roy Moore is accused of this stuff. I don't know the truth of it, but I know a lot of Republicans, including the president's daughter, are attacking him, like flat out attacking him, and some are defending him. When Bill Clinton got accused 20 years ago, in I think a much more credible way, of much worse things, including forcible rape, he was defended in the New York Times by Gloria Steinem and the entire feminist establishment. And that seems a meaningful difference to me. And I wonder if, in retrospect, that's regrettable.
I do think it is regrettable. I think that when you look back at what happened 25 years ago with the hindsight that we have now, and particularly this national collective moment that we're having where women are coming out of the woodworks to finally be able to tell their stories of being sexually harassed, sexually assaulted, being even raped, I think that we would see his story and his behavior towards women a lot differently than we did at the time. But again, we have this benefit of seeing it in a different moment.
Because I'm pretty old, and so I remember it really well. That was 30 years after the feminist revolution. That was after we got like a 2-year-long lecture about sexual harassment with Anita Hill and Clarence Thomas, where no physical contact was even alleged. People were exquisitely sensitive about it then. The no means no thing. I was in college, 10 years before. I remember it really well. That's not why he got a pass. He got a pass because he vetoed 2 partial birth abortion bills. Yeah,
and I think it was also 25 years ago. I mean, look, I really do think that there is a very big difference right now. You have Mitch McConnell coming out and saying, I believe these women about Roy Moore. And that's not something that you would have seen, I want to say, even a year ago, 5 years ago, right? If there's going to be a difference, I think it's that there are still people who rally around these Republicans who have committed probably have been accused of multiple sexual assaults, right? Donald Trump is the president. Roy Moore is still his party's nominee. You look at a more contemporary example on the Democratic side, like let's say Anthony Weiner. He's in jail.
Well, I don't know. Ted Kennedy, the Lion of the Senate, killed a woman and left her to drown in a car. No one disputes that. He was drunk driving. He went off the bridge. He never even reported it, okay? When he died, it was only 2009. Huffington Post ran the story, quote, why Ted Kennedy, what would Mary Jo Kopechne, the woman he killed, have thought of Ted's career? Answer, maybe she'd feel it was worth it. That was 2009. HuffPost making the case.
That, talking about an incident that was happening in, what, the 60s? I mean, again, we're talking about a very different time.
He killed a woman and served until 2009. That whole period, he got adulation from feminists because he was for abortion, and they ignored the fact that he actually killed somebody.
Roy Moore is on the ballot today in 2017, right? So I think we can go back and we can talk about how people did bad things.
This was the other day. It was Ted Kennedy.
Yes.
Look, my only point is, look, and I think, and I said it last night in the show, I think there are people who are willing to make excuses for Moore for political reasons. I just think that's wrong. I do. I think you should assess things on the facts, okay? I'm accused of something. Don't tell me some other. I don't want my kids to get away with that crap. Just answer the question, right?
Right.
But I'm just saying we've got a decades-long history of the left putting politics ahead of women. And, I don't want to have to pretend that's okay because it's not okay.
It's not okay, and it's not okay when the right does it as well. And I think that we should be able to have an honest adult conversation about the fact that right now sexual harassment and sexual assault are pervasive in America, that women have been hurt by it for a very long time and continue to be.
There are a ton of men.
And many men as well. Absolutely. And many men as well.
So why do we have anything in America named after Ted Kennedy?
Really? That's...
No, it's a sincere question. I don't know why. I mean, Harvey Weinstein's name has been stripped out of, whatever the Directors Guild. No, it's a sincere question. You kill someone, a woman who you're taking advantage of, do you get to have your name on things now?
I think that you are seeing men face very different consequences today than they did even 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago for the same sorts of behavior. And I think that's a great thing for women, right? I think that it is a hugely positive step that now women feel comfortable to say, I expect better behavior from my politicians, from my boss, from my friends. And again, I think that's something where Democrats and Republicans are certainly guilty of this behavior and can come together and have an honest
Last question. I mean, you obviously, I'm sure, believe in due process. This is not quite related, but I keep thinking about it recently.
Sure.
Is it okay to anonymously accuse someone of a crime? Any crime? Is it fair for me to say, you've been accused of bank robbery, I'm not going to say which bank is accusing you?
Are you talking specifically when it
I'm saying you read these cases where people are accused anonymously of things.
Right.
And it just seems like that's not what justice is. Justice is getting to face your accuser and account for what you're accused of doing.
But that hasn't happened here. I mean, for example...
No, it hasn't. But you've seen it in the last couple of months. Is that okay with you? I'm just wondering.
I think that you need to look at the reason why someone would accuse someone anonymously. It would probably be because they are afraid of the retribution that they might face in coming
Why would a media...
publicly.
Okay, I get it. I actually understand that. But why would a media company print the name of the accused but not of the accuser before it's even gone to court? We don't know actually what happened, but we're basically declaring one person guilty and shielding the other from public view. Why would we do that?
Again, are we talking about Roy Moore?
No, I'm not talking about Roy Moore.
Yeah.
No, I'm not. But there are a lot of people to whom this is happening. Is that okay with you?
I expect, and you are a media person, so I think you know how stories, when they get to print, there's a fairly extensive process by which reputable news organizations go through before they actually put something in print.
I've been in this too long. The reputable ones are the most corrupt. I've seen it firsthand. Christy, thank you for that.
Thank you.
Good to see you. Attorney, toxic masculinity is killing everyone. Repeat. Toxic masculinity is killing everyone. Repeat. Toxic masculinity is killing everyone. Repeat. We could go on, but there are only a certain number of characters allowed in a tweet. Kathy Aru is the founding publisher of Catalina magazine. She joins us tonight. So, Kathy, we asked the professor to come on. She sent us a very long and actually very nice email saying that she feared for her safety and couldn't come on. You were brave enough to do so. Tell us, if you would, if you know the answer, what is toxic masculinity? How do you catch it? What's the cure?
Well, according to the professor's article, toxic masculinity is the man's fear that he's losing his power. And because minorities and women are taking higher positions and they have more power, that white men and men in general are afraid that they're going to lose their strength and their virility, and therefore they are causing the mass shootings and lashing out.
Well, so it's kind of both ways. So what you have is a situation where the entire kind of fashionable culture in America attacks one group relentlessly. And then if they don't like it, that's a problem too. And then if there's a shooting committed by someone who looks that way, that's the result of them. I mean, this is kind of a nonsense theory, isn't it? Maybe the guy committed a mass shooting because he was crazy or he had some kind of other animus. Does it have to be because of his gender?
Yes. I mean, if you look at it, yes, men are more violent than women. Of the mass shootings we've had in the last 25 years, 88 have been by men, 2 have been by women. So we definitely have a problem with men in this country. Men are committing the murders.
Okay, well that is true. Of course, men commit the overwhelming majority of violent crimes. But I thought men and women were exactly the same. I mean, I'm kind of losing track of my feminist orthodoxies here, and I think some of them may be on a collision course about to hit each other. So men and women are exactly the same. You can transition from one to the other by snapping your fingers, and everyone has to believe that that's real. But they're totally different, which is true.
Women are better, unfortunately. We are not the murderers of our society. We are not committing the crimes. We commit less than 20% of the crimes. So
That's
actually,
true.
Men are not as good as women. We are actually better. We're safer.
But what about men who transition to it? So if a man says, if he's got a terrible case of toxic masculinity.
Yes.
He's on his deathbed dying from toxic masculinity.
Right.
And he says, bam, I'm a woman now. Does it cure him?
Well, I would hope so. He would be the better gender. So I would hope so.
Okay. Does any of this strike you as nuts, or are you actually kind of tracking with this and nodding in agreement?
No, I completely agree. If you look at it, it doesn't matter what race they are, doesn't matter where they're from, doesn't matter what country. Men are committing most of the crimes and most of the murders. There is a problem with men. And no one can quite figure it out. Is it the testosterone? Is it that they feel less empowered? Are the minorities, are the women taking over too much and they are afraid of this? Is
there an upside to masculinity? So let's say a hostile power tries to invade the country and, you know, burn your house and kill the livestock and carry your women off over their shoulder or whatever. That's the point when you'd want to have some toxic masculinity around, right?
Well,
actually, it's funny. I actually have 2 cadets from West Point in my studio right now watching. And I asked them in the commercial break, I hope you guys have a lot of toxic masculinity, because the whole point is to go kill people in order to protect us. That's a good use of toxic masculinity.
Well, right. Her article said that not all men suffer from this. So she did say that in her article, and Ms. Clemens, the professor, said in her article, but the men that do have it are dangerous, and these are the ones committing the crimes. So, yeah, it's wonderful that we have these guys that are protecting our country, these wonderful men and women who are protecting our country, but those who have this toxic masculinity are committing crimes. These mass murders are
Is there a measure? Is there some kind of like swab or blood test that can tell me if my masculinity is getting to dangerous levels?
No, unfortunately, I think it's too late. I think it's when the mass murders occurred. Yes.
So if there's toxic masculinity, that suggests the polar, right? The toxic femininity. What would that look like?
Well,
and how
sugar and
prevalent is
spice
that?
and everything nice. I mean, that's what it's like to be a girl. But boys will be boys, and that's what we're raising. We're raising boys to think that they should be more powerful and stronger. That's what the professor was saying. Maybe we're just not raising them right. Why are women
No, but you're not
supposed to
answering
be
my question.
nonviolent?
Okay, but is there such a thing as toxic femininity?
No.
Can you be too you can be way too masculine.
We do no wrong.
But you can't
Women
be
do
too
no
feminine.
wrong. The numbers prove it. The statistics prove it. Women do not do wrong.
That doesn't sound like feminism to me exactly.
What?
That sounds like kind of the 19th century understanding of women.
No, it's just the fact.
Again, you're
women are
confusing me
responsible.
here.
Women are responsible. We're not killing. We're not committing crimes. We're just the smarter gender.
Huh. Let me ask you one last question.
Yeah.
If men are this huge problem and they're like overbearing and they're just too masculine, then why does every measure show that young women are outstripping young men in achievement? They graduate from college in much higher numbers. They get high school too. They make a little more for their first jobs. They kill themselves less. They die less often from drug ODs. Why is that? If men are keeping women down, why are women doing so much better than men in this country?
Well, women are doing so well, and that's what's causing the toxic masculinity. They're not happy about it, and that's why the murders have gone up since 2011. We've had
so I
more
wonder,
mass
has it
shootings.
occurred to you maybe to help instead of browbeating men and like mocking them for being less powerful and saying, well, sure, of course you are. And you've got tenured losers like this woman we are quoting from Kutztown University or whatever it's called saying, you know, men are horrible. Shouldn't women be helping men to be better?
I think women are, but the way they're being raised, maybe it's just too late by the time we get them. We need to raise them right. Boys can't be boys.
You've confused me completely, but I was still happy.